Welcome to Learn with Safi. In this video we see Python interview questions with answers. What is Python? Python is a general-purpose computer programming language. It is a high-level, object-oriented language which can run equally on different platforms such as Windows, Linux, Unix, and Macintosh. It is widely used in data science, machine learning and artificial intelligence domain. It is easy to learn and require less code to develop the applications. What are the applications of Python? Python is used in various software domains. Some application areas are given in this picture: web and internet development, games, scientific and computational applications, language development, image processing and graphic design applications, enterprise and business applications development, operating systems, GUI-based desktop applications. Python provides various web frameworks to develop web applications. The popular Python web frameworks are Django, Pyramid, Flask. Python standard library supports for email processing, FTP, IMAP, and other Internet protocols. Python SciPy and NumPy helps in scientific and computational application development. Python's Tkinter library supports to create a desktop-based GUI applications. What are the advantages of Python? The advantages of Python: interpreted, free and open source, readability, built-in data structure, cross-platform, object-oriented, high-level language, extensible. Interpreted. Python is an interpreted language. It does not require prior compilation of code and executes instructions directly. Free and open source. It is an open source project which is publicly available to reuse. It can be downloaded free of cost. Extensible. It is very flexible and extensible with any module. Object-oriented. Python allows to implement the object-oriented concepts to build application solution. Built-in data structure. Tuple, list, and dictionary are useful integrated data structures provided by the language. What is PEP8? PEP8 is a coding convention which specifies a set of guidelines about how to write Python code more readable. It's a set of rules to guide how to format your Python code to maximize its readability. Writing code to a specification helps to make significant code bases, with lots of writers, more uniform and predictable too. What do you mean by Python literals? Literals can be defined as a data which is given in a variable or constant. Python supports the following literals. String literals. String literals are formed by enclosing text in the single or double quotes. For example, string literals are string values. Example, and 1 2 3 4 5. Numeric literals. Python supports three types of numeric literals: integer, float and complex. See the examples. Integer literal: a is equal to 10. Float literal: b is equal to 12.3. Complex literal: x is equal to 3.14. Boolean literals. Boolean literals are used to denote Boolean values. It contains either true or false. Example, is Boolean is equal to true. Explain Python functions. A function is a section of the program or a block of code that is written once and can be executed whenever required in the program. A function is a block of self-contained statements, which has a valid name, parameters list, and body. Functions make programming more functional and modular to perform modular tasks. Python provides several built-in functions to complete tasks, and also allows a user to create new functions as well. There are two types of functions. Built-in functions. Copy, len, count are some built-in functions. User-defined functions. Functions which are defined by a user, known as user-defined functions. What is zip function in Python? The Python zip function is used to transform multiple lists. that is, list 1, list 2, list 3 and many more into a single list of tuples. This method takes an iterable and returns a tuple of the iterable. If we don't pass iterable, it returns an empty iterator. See this example, list 1 contains A, B, C and list 2 contains 10, 20, 30. Zip, list 1, list 2. Results in a list of tuples say, A is 10, B is 20 and C is 30. Note these points. If the given lists are of different lengths, zip stops generating tuples when the first list ends. It means two lists are having 3, and 5 lengths will create a 3-tuple. What is Python's parameter passing mechanism? There are 2 parameters passing mechanism in Python: pass by reference and pass by value. By default, all the parameters are passed by reference to the functions. Thus, if you change the value of the parameter within a function, the change is reflected in the calling function as well. It indicates the original variable. For example, if a variable is declared as a equals 10 and passed to a function where its value is modified to a equals 20, both the variables denote to the same value. The pass by value is that whenever we pass the arguments to the function, only values pass to the function, no reference passes to the function. It makes it immutable, that means not changeable. Both variables hold the different values, and original value persists even after modifying in the function. Python has a default argument concept which helps to call a method using an arbitrary number of arguments. How to overload constructors or methods in Python. Python's constructor, init, is the first method of a class. Whenever we try to instantiate an object, init is automatically invoked by Python to initialize members of an object. We can't overload constructors or methods in Python. It shows an error if we try to overload. What is the difference between remove function and del statement? The delete statement is used to remove list, dictionary or a key. We need to pass an index which we want to delete. Delete is a fast way to remove elements from the list. The remove method is used to remove elements from the list. It searches the element before deleting, which makes it slower than del. Del and remove both are used to remove element, but del has a performance edge over remove. In this example, del data4 denotes deleting the 4th index element, then data.remove12 denotes removing element by passing element. What is swapcase function in the Python? It is a strings function which converts all uppercase characters into lowercase and vice versa. It is used to alter the existing case of the string. This method creates a copy of the string which contains all the characters in the swap case. If the string is in lowercase, it generates a small case string and vice versa. It automatically ignores all the non-alphabetic characters. How to remove white spaces from a string in Python. To remove the white spaces and trailing spaces from the string, Python provides strip, st, a built-in function. This function returns a copy of the string after removing white spaces if present. Otherwise returns original string. How to remove leading white spaces from a string in the Python. To remove leading characters from a string, we can use lstrip function. It is Python string function which takes an optional char type parameter. If a parameter is provided, it removes the character. Otherwise, it removes all the leading spaces from the string. Why do we use join function in Python? This method is used to concatenate a string with an iterable object. It returns a new string which is the concatenation of the strings in iterable. It throws an exception type error if iterable contains any non-string value. Give an example of shuffle method. This method shuffles the given string or an array. It randomizes the items in the array. This method is present in the random module. So, we need to import it and then we can call the function. It shuffles elements each time when the function calls, and produces different output. What is the use of break statement? It is used to terminate the execution of the current loop. Break always breaks the current execution, and transfer control to outside the current block. If the block is in a loop, it exits from the loop, and if the break is in a nested loop, it exits from the innermost loop. What is tuple in Python? A tuple is a built-in data collection type. It allows us to store values in a sequence. It is immutable, so no change is reflected in the original data. It uses brackets rather than square brackets to create a tuple. We cannot remove any element but can find in the tuple. We can use indexing to get elements. It also allows traversing elements in reverse order by using negative indexing. Tuple supports various methods like max, sum, sorted, len, etc. Which are the file-related libraries modules in Python? Python provides libraries or modules including functions that facilitate us to manipulate text files and binary files on the file system. By using these libraries, we can create files, update their contents, copy, and delete files. These libraries are OS path, and the Tuple. OS and OS path libraries include functions for accessing the file system. Tuple library is used to copy and delete the files. What are the different file processing modes supported by Python? Python provides 3 modes to open files: the read-only, write-only, read-write and append mode. R is used to open a file in read-only mode. W is used to open a file in write-only mode. RW is used to open in reading and write mode. A is used to open a file in append mode. If the mode is not specified, by default file opens in read-only mode. Read-only mode, open a file for reading, it is the default mode. Write-only mode, open a file for writing. If the file contains data, data would be lost, other a new file is created. Read-write mode, open a file for reading. Write mode, it means updating mode. Append mode, open for writing, append to the end of the file, if the file exists. What is an operator in Python? An operator is a particular symbol, which is used on some values, and produces an output as a result. An operator works on operands. Operands are numeric literals or variables, which hold some values. Operators can be unary, binary or ternary. An operator which require a single operand known as a unary operator, which require 2 operands known as a binary operator, and which require 3 operands is called ternary operator. Python operators: unary, binary and ternary. What are the different types of operators in Python? Python uses a rich set of operators to perform a variety of operations. Some individual operators like membership and identity operators are not so familiar, but allow to perform operations. Arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment operators, logical operators, membership operators, identity operators, and bitewise operators. Arithmetic operators perform basic arithmetic operations. For example, plus is used to add, and question mark is used for subtraction. Relational operators are used to comparing the values. These operators test the conditions, and then returns a Boolean value, either true or false. Assignment operators are used to assigning values to the variables. Logical operators are used to performing logical operations, like and, or, and not. Membership operators are used to checking whether an element is a member of the sequence or not. Python uses 2 membership operators, in and not in operators to check element presence. Identity operators, is and is not, both are used to check 2 values or variable, which are located on the same part of the memory. 2 variables that are equal, does not imply that they are identical. Bitewise operators are used to performing operations over the bits. The binary operators, and AMP, OR, work on bits. How to create a Unicode string in Python. In Python 3, the old Unicode type is replaced by str type, and the string is treated as Unicode by default. We can make a string in Unicode by using our .title.encode function. Is Python interpreted language? Python is an interpreted language. The Python language program runs directly from the source code. It converts the source code into an intermediate language code, which is again translated into machine language, that has to be executed. Unlike Java or C, Python does not require compilation before execution. How is memory managed in Python? Memory is managed in Python by the following way. Python uses private heap space to manage Python programs into memory, all Python objects and data structures located in a private heap. The programmer does not have access to this private heap, and Interpreter takes care of this Python private heap. Python Memory Manager is responsible for allocating Python heap space for Python objects. Python also has an inbuilt garbage collector, which recycles all the unused memory, and frees the memory, and makes it available to the heap space. What is the Python Decorator? Python Decorator is a concept which allows to call or declare a function inside a function, pass a function as an argument, return a function from the function. The decorator provides extra facility to the function. It also helps to organize a piece of code within a function. What is the difference between function and decorator? A function is a block of code that performs a specific task, whereas a decorator is a function that modifies other functions. What are the rules for a local and global variable in Python? In Python, variables that are only referenced inside a function are called implicitly global. If a variable is assigned a new value anywhere within the function's body, it's assumed to be a local. If a variable is ever assigned a new value inside the function, the variable is implicitly local, and we need to declare it as global explicitly. To make a variable globally, we need to declare it by using global keyword. Local variables are accessible within local body only. Global variables are accessible anywhere in the program, and any function can access and modify its value. What is the namespace in Python? In Python, every name has a place where it lives. It is known as a namespace. It is like a box, where a variable name maps to the object placed. Whenever the variable is searched out, this box will be searched to get the corresponding object. What are iterators in Python? In Python, iterators are used to iterate a group of elements, containers like a list. Iterators are the collection of items, and it can be a list, tuple, or a dictionary. Python Iterator implements itr and next method to iterate the stored elements. In Python, we generally use loops to iterate over the collections, list, tuple. What is a generator in Python? In Python, the generator is a way that specifies how to implement iterators. It is a normal function except that it yields expression in the function. It does not implement itr and next method, and reduce other overheads as well. If a function contains at least a yield statement, it becomes a generator. The yield keyword pauses the current execution by saving its states and then resume from the same when required. What is slicing in Python? Slicing is a mechanism used to select a range of items from sequence type, like list, tuple, and string. It is beneficial and easy to get elements from a range by using slice way. It requires a colon, which separates the start and end index of the field. All the data collection types, list or tuple, allows us to use slicing to fetch elements. Although we can get elements by specifying an index, we get only single element, whereas using slicing we can get a group of elements. What is a dictionary in Python? The Python dictionary is a built-in data type. It defines a one-to-one relationship between keys and values. Dictionaries contain a pair of keys and their corresponding values. It stores elements in key and value pairs. The keys are unique, whereas values can be duplicate. The key accesses the dictionary elements. What is parse in Python? Parse specifies a Python statement without operations. It is a placeholder in a compound statement. If we want to create an empty class or functions, this pass keyword helps to pass the control without error. Explain docstring in Python. A Python documentation string is called docstring. It is used for documenting Python functions, modules and classes. It should be the first statement in a module, class or function. String literals occurring immediately after a simple assignment at the top are called attribute docstrings. String literals occurring immediately after another docstring are called additional docstrings. Python uses triple quotes to create docstrings, even though the string fits on one line. Docstring phrase ends with a period, and can be multiple lines. It may consist of spaces and other special chars. What is a negative index in Python? Python sequences are accessible, using an index in positive and negative numbers. For example, 0 is the first positive index, 1 is the second positive index and so on. For negative indexes, -1 is the last negative index, -2 is the second last negative index and so on. Index traverses from left to right, and increases by 1 until end of the list. Negative index traverse from right to left, and iterate 1 by 1 till the start of the list. A negative index is used to traverse the elements into reverse order. What is pickling and unpickling in Python? Pickling is a process in which a pickle module accepts any Python object, converts it into a string representation, and dumps it into a file by using dump function. Unpickling is a process of retrieving original Python object from the stored string representation for use. Pickle is a standard module, which serializes and deserializes a Python object structure. Which programming language is a good choice between Java and Python? Java and Python both are object-oriented programming languages. Let's compare both on some criteria given below. What is the usage of help and do function in Python? Help and do both functions are accessible from the Python interpreter and used for viewing a consolidated dump of built-in functions. Help function. The help function is used to display the documentation string, and also facilitates us to see the help related to modules, keywords, and attributes. Do function. The do function is used to display the defined symbols. How can we make forms in Python? You have to import CGI module to access form fields using field storage class. Attributes of class field storage for the form. Form.name, the name of the field, if specified. Form.filename, if an FTP transaction, the client-side file name. Form.value, the value of the field as a string. Form.file, file object from which data read. Form.type, the content type, if applicable. Form.type options, the options of the content type line of the HTTP request, returned as a dictionary. Form.disposition, the field content disposition. None, if unspecified. Form.disposition options, the options for content disposition. Form.headers, all of the HTTP headers returned as a dictionary. What are the differences between Python 2.x and Python 3.x? Python 2.x is an older version of Python. Python 3.x is newer and latest version. Python 2.x is legacy now. Python 3.x is the present and future of this language. The most visible difference between Python 2 and Python 3 is in print statement. In Python 2, it looks like print hello inverted commas, and in Python 3, it is print hello in inverted commas with parentheses. String in Python 2 is ASCII implicitly, and in Python 3 it is Unicode. The xrange method has removed from Python 3 version. A new keyword as is introduced in error handling. How can you organize your code to make it easier to change the base class? You have to define an alias for the base class, assign the real base class to it before your class definition, and use the alias throughout your class. You can also use this method if you want to decide dynamically, for example, depending on availability of resources, which base class to use. How Python does compile time and runtime code checking. In Python, some amount of coding is done at compile time, but most of the checking such as type, name, etc. are postponed until code execution. Consequently, if the Python code references a user-defined function that does not exist, the code will compile successfully. The Python code will fail only with an exception when the code execution path does not exist. What is the shortest method to open a text file and display its content? The shortest way to open a text file is by using with command in the following manner. What is the usage of enumerate function in Python? The enumerate function is used to iterate through the sequence and retrieve the index position and its corresponding value at the same time. Give the output of this example, a of 3 if a is equal to 1, 4, 6, 7, 9, 66, 4 and 94. Since indexing starts from 0, an element present at third index is 7. So, the output is 7. What will be the output of given below? The output will be following. What will be the output of data, -2, from the list data is, 1, 5, 8, 6, 9, 3, and 4. In the list, an element present at the second index from the right is 3. So, the output will be 3. How to send an email in Python language. To send an email, Python provides SMTP-lib and email modules. Import these modules into the created mail script and send mail by authenticating a user. It has a method SMTP, SMTP server, port. It requires 2 parameters to establish SMTP connection. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and hit the bell.